This book. This book is so awesome, I can't even deal with it! I've read it like 5 times, and it's still just, holy crap, this is the best book ever. As you can see, this book has the not unexpected but slightly unsettling power to render me basically incoherent for several days after reading it. So, instead of trying to explain it right then and there, I gave myself a couple of days off. And here I am, back for episode 3, The Fault in Our Stars. Possibly the best book all year, explained through Venn Diagrams.
Rock with it, when we gonna stop with it? Lyrics that mean nothing, we were gifted with thought. Is it time to move our feet to an introspective beat? It ain't the speakers that bump hearts, it's our hearts that make the beat. Lean with it, rock with it, when we gonna stop with it? Lyrics that mean nothing, we were gifted with thought. Is it time to move our feet to an introspective beat? It ain't the speakers that bump hearts, it's our hearts that make the...
One of the things I love about this book is how meta it is. And if you don't know what I mean by the word meta, you should go look it up. But in this case, I mean aware of itself. It's like aware of the fact that it's a work of art that's talking about works of art, which is really, really interesting, but mostly just informative. So, to begin, we give you the perfect example of that. This book explaining itself perfectly. My favorite book, by a wide margin, was An Imperial Affliction, but I didn't like to tell people about it. Sometimes you read a book and it fills you with this weird evangelical zeal, and you become convinced that the shattered world will never be put back together unless and until all humans read that book. And then there are books like An Imperial Affliction, which you can't tell people about, books so special and rare and yours that advertising your affection feels like a betrayal. Replace An Imperial Affliction, which is our main character's favorite book in the book, with The Fault in Our Stars, and you have an explanation for exactly how most of the readers of this book feel. It's something that's become so precious to hundreds and thousands, possibly millions of people, that they're torn between wanting to give it to everyone and wanting to keep it for themselves. That is an amazing piece of literature. Of course, those of you who haven't read this book and don't trust me are probably asking why. Now, I could go into all of the academic explanations about why people build communities around books and the interests of literature in society, or I can break it down in Venn diagrams. For those of you who are not Venn diagram connoisseurs, this is your basic. 2 circles, they cross over at one point. So, a little explanation of this one. This is male characters in books. You see male love interests and guys with one leg. And in the middle, you have only 2 people. Peeta Mellark from The Hunger Games and Augustus Gus Waters, the second main character in The Fault in Our Stars. Now, to you, they might not seem like they have a lot of in common, but to me, Peeta and Augustus have actually a lot of stuff in common. They both pick women who are difficult in different ways. They're both in semi-life-threatening situations, and they're kind of extravagant. This is part of the reason why I love Augustus Waters so much. He is an extravagant character. John Green decided that he was going to put together everything that teenage girls love into one male character and then write him into this book. And his name, ladies and gentlemen, is Augustus Waters. He uses the word grand as his standby. Oh, I'm just grand. And his main answer for how he is, I'm on a roller coaster that only goes up. This is the kind of guy that is going to take you to a picnic and make grand metaphoric gestures. This is the kind of guy who is going to charm you by saying that you look like a movie star. And this is the kind of guy who, underneath all of that, has the most amazingly good heart that you will ever find. Personally, I think that Augustus Waters would look like a taller version of this guy. But that could be just because I love Joseph Gordon-Levitt. The important thing is that he's absolutely the kind of character that is not only deeply flawed, but awesome in spite of it. And we like him because of that. Most of the time we don't like inhuman characters. We don't like characters that are perfect, just like we don't like people that are perfect. And the fact that Augustus Waters seems like he might actually be perfect, but instead has these deep, abiding flaws, means that we can love him even more. Okay, so for this next portion, we have to go a little bit more literary. You can see in front of you the Venn diagram. The gray portions are places where plot, imagery, lingual prowess, all of these things come together, but there isn't any place where you get the perfect usage of dialogue in a book, except in that sweet black spot right in the center there. As you can see, there is a conspicuous red line driven, because John Green nailed it. I mean, I know that I'm biased and everything, but when you think about dialogue in books, there's not a lot of places where all of this stuff crosses over. It's either a melodrama or it's a painting in words. And the amazing thing that John Green manages to do is put all of this stuff together. He gives you the most incredible imagery of sculptures, of the places where Gus and Hazel visit. He gives you the character development through their conversations, and then every time they get together, every single exchange that they have, it literally either leaves me with my heart aching in one hand, just pumping away, hurting because it's so incredible, or laughing because it's hilarious and clever and amazing. Let's get an excerpt. Gus and Hazel are trying to sell off Hazel's swing set for ambiguous reasons. It doesn't matter. Once I'd recovered, we went inside and sat down on the couch right next to each other, the laptop half on his fake knee and half on mine. Hot, I said of the laptop's base. Is it now? He smiled. Gus loaded this giveaway site called Free No Catch, and together we wrote an ad. Headline, he said. Swing set needs home, I said. Desperately lonely swing set needs loving home, he said. Lonely, vaguely pedophilic swing set seeks the butts of children, I said. He laughed. That's why. What? That's why I like you. Do you realize how rare it is to come across a hot girl who creates an adjectival version of the word pedophile? You're so busy being you that you have no idea how utterly unprecedented you are. Now, if that's not the best compliment in the world, I'm not really sure what is. And now we come to the meat of the problem. In front of you, you have a Venn diagram of what important books are about. The human condition, love, many other things. And right in the middle, where they all cross over, are where the best books are. And as you can see, once again, John Green and TFIOS have nailed it. This is an argument that's been going on between people, scholars, and just people who read for hundreds and thousands of years. What are important books about? But what we see through history, through the things that are taught in your English classes, through the things that your friends pass on, is that there are certain themes. Love is a huge one. That's why this book is so great, because it's about love, really. But also because it's about the other things that make us intrinsically human. The stuff that writers put down on paper are things that they aren't able to figure out by themselves, or great epiphanies that they feel need to be passed on, or questions that they're asking. Writing is not just a shout into the void, it's a way of starting a conversation. And the conversation that John Green wants to have with us is a profound one. He's asking what our lives are worth, what our pain is worth. He's asking what it means to love someone, under what circumstances, and what kind of lives we want to lead. He has this thing where he's been able to heighten reality through the circumstances of his characters and make all of these questions more important. And because they're more pivotal, as Hazel and Gus ask these questions of themselves and of each other, everything becomes clearer. And John Green, as a writer who can slice to the heart of things, makes everything clearer. So the way that I feel about this book and all books is both simple and incredibly complex at once. But John Green, as he does with everything else, puts it beautifully in a single line of prose, which is really the reason why we read in the first place. To see the things that we feel put on paper, and to say, hey look, someone else felt that too, and not just one person, but millions. So here is the way that I felt when I read this book. Mother's glass eye turned inward, Augustus began. And as he read, I fell in love the way you fall asleep. Slowly, and then all at once.